Hi friends and family, welcome to YouPlug. Welcome to the plug that keeps you plugged in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for setting your time aside to engage our content. We really do appreciate it. We want to appreciate our returning subscribers. You guys make this channel to be what it is, and for you who are here for the first time, please subscribe, turn on your post notification so that when we upload you will be notified. And we are here, friends, and we are at it. If you happen to be here for the first time and you do not know this guy,
Yes.
nagi opo wa Ramalekanas ngimnari nomsudo ga trafasa washa to gatagazi ngingideni ngamazulu gamla tuturusa gigo bla butaba moru mutulu komalitsane buda komu utshware motho. And as always, I'm with my guy here, and I'm going to give him the honors to introduce to introduce the guest here.
Who am I to introduce this guest?
Ah,
I feel like you are the one who is worthy of doing that. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Hi friends and family, welcome to YouPlug.
Sure.
Welcome to the plug that keeps you plugged in. It's a Friday night, 7 p.m. big, and we're always excited to be bringing you content, quality content, where we challenge existing relationship narratives and negotiating for alternatives.
Sure.
And this is the place to be, and we're excited to have you as always. Without any further ado, I am Mac. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I'm a child of the Most High God, blessed and highly favored, a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a nation belonging to God, to declare the praises of Him who has called me out of darkness into the wonderful light. And please do stay
Of
in
relationship. Of
please-
marriage.
It changes big.
Nah?
Yeah, it
Okay.
changes. Don't worry.
And I get you.
And please do look out on our channel. We'll be releasing out merchandise very soon.
Oh,
As
yeah.
you can see that it's winter. On that other side, it's not winter, but this side.
My friend, the heart
you
is
fall-
warm. The heart is warm. I'm hotspotting. The heart is warm.
Oh, okay.
Don't
No,
worry
no.
about winter.
No, you said it twice. I heard you
Yeah,
twice, my
yeah,
friend.
No, don't worry about it. The heart is warm.
But for us, we'll be releasing merchandise,
Sure.
new plug merchandise, and please gather your monies as we get those stuff ready. And we would like to see you plugged in with winter apparel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and all.
Yes.
And thank you for coming back. We're always excited to have you. We'll be continuing our conversation today, but before that, we have a special guest. And I said I don't know if I'm worthy even to be announcing who this is.
Let me introduce my wife.
Yes. Oh,
Hi, you pluggers. Once more. This is my wife, Jessica, and she's joining us today. So forgive me if you see me blushing every now and then, and I
Aye.
get off topic. Is because the heart is warm inside, and I have my best friend of 8 years now. Yeah, so that is Jess, and she will be engaging us. Do you want to greet them, Lavi?
Good evening, everyone. I know that you are excited once again to be part of this family, YouPlug.
Yes.
I'm excited to be part of the family tonight, and I'm excited and I'm expecting probably questions.
Yeah, sure.
I know questions it will be. Please, you pluggers, do make sure, don't miss out this opportunity to ask questions. If you want to see here again responding to your questions, make sure that you do post them, because we want to we started really on one topic that we want to, well, not necessarily fully exhaust, but explore as many opinions and experiences that people have experienced as possible. So, and that's why we have you here. Oops, do you wanna tell your wife why she's here?
Oh yeah, I mean, we have people who watch this channel and kind of give us a feedback. So one of the YouPluggers have said to me that you have said good stuff there concerning last week's episode.
Okay.
If you have not checked it, please do check it out. But he said, I'm sure that would hit differently if Jessica was the one who was responding to that particular question, because I kind of spoke for us, but more especially for her in terms of how I was observing Jessica
Sure.
at the time where we were trying to conceive, and it was like not happening immediately. So I did respond, and I was told that was a good response, but I think it would have hit differently if Jessica is here. So I said, by all means, let's have Jessica. Let's have Jessica come here. Jessica is my wife, as I've already said. We have been together for the last 8 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think speaking on infertility, I also assume that it would relate differently to the woman than it would to the man. So I think then we are really blessed to have you here. It's
You
quite
better be blessed.
It's quite it's quite as we said last week, a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
That we would like to give it the respect that it deserves, and we thank you for coming and choosing really to open yourself up to those experiences. But maybe let's start off on a lighter note. You guys, how long have you been together now?
My wife, please.
Yes, we've been together for 8 years.
Yeah. This year we're turning. This year
we will
8.
be celebrating our 8th anniversary.
Yeah, on the 11th of September.
Okay.
The 10th of September.
The 10th, yes. You know what? Just a side note.
Yeah.
So, when we were celebrating our anniversary on the 10th, on the 11th, we started the church.
Okay.
Sometimes
You want to marry the two.
sometimes because those days are too close and they are very significant.
That one is Jesus' bride, my brother. Leave that one alone.
Yes, Jesus.
The church is
Jesus' bride. Yeah.
Here's your bride.
Oh yeah. Okay, okay guys. Here's my bride, and we've been together and we're celebrating 8 on the 11th, on the 10th. Yes, not 11th. Yeah.
All right, and a summary of this journey. There's a YouPlugger who's there, who's 1 month into it, or probably even thinking about it, and is asking how do we get to 8 years?
I think, Mac, not I think, I know the best decision that helped us as a couple. It's having God at the center of this. I think we chose to put Him in the center of it all, and that doesn't mean there was no obstacles. It doesn't mean there was no up and downs, but I think we were continuously trying to remind ourselves that if there's no God, this is doomed to fail. And then I think that has been the jam, like we say, the glue to this marriage, and hence we can look back 8 years later to say that there's only been God who made this work. And then I think for us, what also helped us during this 8 years, it's to find community of believers who believes in marriages, who cultivates, who walks alongside, that even when things don't work out, we are able to consult, we are able to speak, we are able to join other couples to say, this is what we are facing. Is this foreign to you? How does it look for you? How do you explain this thing? And then I think we were intentional to firstly make sure that God is the center, but secondly also get a community of believers who is walking this journey, who has walked it many years before us, who has walked it more or less the same years with us, and even younger. So that has been our main priority, that as we go about it, we would not miss these opportunities of marriage.
Alright.
Yeah, no, I feel like moving out of this place. My wife is.
She said it all.
No, she's killing it.
Who's carrying this marriage, guys? Is it a joint effort or is it?
and I'm also just on a lighter note. In these 8 years, we got to live through our vows. You know, when you get married, you say for better, for worse. Yeah. In these 8 years, I can say we've been through. For better and for worse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good times, bad times, sickness, health. Yeah,
Okay.
we got to live that out. It was not easy, as Jess has already said, that it has just been a decision we've made that God will be the center of this marriage. First, God is center of our lives individually. God is the center of this marriage, but also hanging around with community of believers where marriage is seen as a good thing, you know. not those guys who always see marriage as negative and have a lot of negative stuff to say about marriage, and not even speaking about the beauty of it. So we have intentionally made those decisions to hang around, as Jess has already said. People who were married many years before us, people who are married around at the same time, and people who were married after us, like you guys.
Yeah. I'm not sure how to take that, but
No, it's a compliment.
Oh, okay.
It's a compliment. You know, when you have been doing something
there's
for a while.
like you guys.
No. No.
Yeah,
It's a compliment. You
No,
know.
sure.
You know. You. I mean, every time when you get to observe a marriage that is doing well, first it reminds us of where we have started, but also it reminds us of what we could have possibly missed.
Okay.
You know, and just. Look at this beautiful young love and say, oh, we need to go back there, you know, because, you know, as you grow, there's a lot of responsibilities and stuff and things that you miss the beauty.
Sure.
So it's just from those who are ahead, from those who are, and from those who are coming. Yeah.
What's your favorite feature about Jess? I don't know if I should say feature, not necessarily a physical feature, but what's your favorite trait about her?
So my wife is everything that I'm not.
Okay.
My wife is a homemaker. Yeah, my wife is a homemaker, and literally exactly that. She's one person that makes our house to be home.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to talk about the nice food that she's cooking, but just helping us to helping me also to remind us that we are a family, because now we have kids, you know, and sometimes I just go about my own way of doing things, and she constantly say, hey, we need to go out as a family together, you know. We need to do all those kind of stuff. So she's the heart of our home.
Okay.
You know, now I do some other stuff and technical stuff and constantly be brought back to this fact that we are a family, but she's the one who's really holding that, and I love that about her. She's a family person, you know. Yeah, and that's what for me I appreciate, and I've just learned that even when we were dating already, that I want to build a home. You know, when I get married, I want to build a home. I didn't have a full scope of how that looks like, because I mean, and not because I did not grow up in a family. I mean, I have a very close relationship with my siblings and also with my parents. But I knew that all by myself I would not be able to do this thing, you know. And I have a wife who grounds us as a family and make sure that we remain a family unit. So that's, for me, that's what I love and appreciate about her. I mean, apart from many other stuff, you know. When she goes out for the Lord, she goes all out.
Okay.
Yeah, that it's those are just the add-ons.
Sure.
But when she does something, she goes all out, and I think for me that's that.
No, I just needed you to soften her heart so that she can give us all the answers
Yes.
when we start to unpack.
Let's go. Let's do this.
But just
let's do
anything
this.
that you want to say that you appreciate about your husband?
For me, Uncle Mac, like my kids call you, I think it's being the provider. I think I cannot remember a day that he would not make sure that there's what we need. Sometimes I just ask him the spur of a moment. So Opa is one of those guys, he needs to know details prior to. He doesn't want to be on the spot or on the moment, he needs to do this. But I think he would always go the extra mile when it comes to me as well as the kids. And for that I'm grateful. And he's a very good dad. His daughter adores him.
All right. Now I just wanted to make sure that the YouPluggers see that what we are giving to them is not practiced at home. So at least they can see that, you know, when we give, when we talk, things are taken care of at our houses. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So we started a conversation last week on the challenge of infertility that couples face. I just want to take you perhaps back to earlier in your teenage years. What was it a consideration in your mind that there's a possibility that I may not be able to carry children, or was it automatic that once I reach this age, when I get married, I will have children and so on?
You know, Mac, I come from a family of children.
Okay.
I cannot remember a moment that I maybe thought of me not being able to bring forth kids, because in my family there was kids always everywhere. From my eldest aunt to the youngest sibling, there was this assurance of every time when there's a new birth, we celebrate it. So in my mind, I never thought about me not being able one day when I get married, I would not be able to, because I always saw a child as a blessing. So for me, I always had this looking forward to say one day when I get married, I would love to give my husband. But it never came to my mind that it could be me. I always had this in my heart, this joy of this celebration. I wonder how she would look like. I wonder how he would look like. I was excited
Looks
for
like
that
me.
moment. And really, it never crossed my mind, because I think because I come from a big family, and life always, to date we celebrate life. So that never, I'm telling you, I'm honest, that never crossed my mind, because in my mind it's when I get married, not long after I get married, I need to
Sure.
bring forth someone that would look like one of us.
And it was something you were looking forward to.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Oops,
Yes.
would you share the same?
Yeah,
sentiment?
yeah. I would say the same. I mean, same with my wife. I'm the sixth born of seven siblings. You know, s- I always looked forward to having replicating those moments with children of my own.
Okay.
You know, I'm just thinking of times where to date, if when we meet with my siblings, you know, we always have stories and we always laugh about things and stuff like that, you know. I always thought of a big family, you know. Ask me how far I am by now. Well, I mean, not that it matters, but yeah, I always had
Yeah.
that in mind. So
Sure.
yes, to answer your question, yeah, I was looking forward to, I was looking forward to that. You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is there a point where, and at what point, if there is that point where that view started to be challenged, in that this, as much as this is what I anticipate, did there come a point that maybe this might not happen? Just
You know, Mac, this whole topic, I was telling Opes that it's a very sensitive topic, especially to a woman. Like I said, I'm from a big family, and finally when we decided, let me start from the point when we decided, I literally went into depression.
Okay.
Because now my reality is based on the question that is every time posed to me from both sides of the family, not just both sides of the families, but also from friends, colleagues. So when are you guys getting, when are you planning? When is little Ramalekana coming? You guys need to go see a doctor. And in my mind of minds, is these people don't know I'm trying. And you know, because you know that this thing is a reality. So this thing plays in the back of your mind. Am I doing this thing with my husband knowing that there's a possibility that I cannot, because we've been trying? I know people use a lot of money in aid to allow this thing to happen, and financially we were not at that position to even consult. I'm telling you, Mac, it takes so much time, because every time now when we were intimate with one another, I was in the moment, but not in the moment.
Okay.
Because in the moment was I'm doing this, but in the other side of my mind I was like, God, please just bless it so that these people can see I'm able to. So it has been a moment of I'm doing this to prove that I am woman enough.
Okay.
I remember one night, while Opa and I was sitting and having a conversation, I said to him, we've been trying and nothing is happening. What do you think? I remember there was one point in time where I went into depression, that I really just opened myself to God and like, it's getting too much now. Yes, we do not have money, but if you are God and you are faithful, let me accept whatever this might be. Because we have been trying, we've been trying, and you know, that is the moment where I started taking note in my book that this happened this day, this happened that day, this happened this time, so something must start to happen.
Sure.
And I mean, Mac, you know, when you look at it, when I remember, going back there, you literally make note in a book to say that if this happens today, I must at least more or less take my calendar and check it out. And at some point, I literally went into the state of depression. Because remember, I've been trying. And every time when I try on the basis of wanting to prove people. Because remember, I've received now, you have been married almost for 4 years, and you guys, what are you saying? There's nothing coming forth. I remember there was days that I just went to someone that I normally speak with, and I sat with the person in their office and I cried, and I'm like, these people don't know that I'm trying and nothing is coming forth. As it's not that I'm not trying, I am trying, but nothing is coming forth. So when I think about it, it's painful because I can only imagine for those who have been trying and to date nothing came forth. So for me, when I think of a woman, it's painful because not only am I trying, I'm getting the pressure from people that you think would understand that not all women might be able to, but it's family related, it's friends, it's those in your closer circle. And then you ask yourself every time when you are alone, don't these people think, don't they try to think that what you as a woman would think? I went probably for a month and a half, or probably long, I can't even remember anymore, where I just felt like I'm not even worthy to be his wife.
Okay.
Because we've been trying, and eventually it didn't happen. And then I remember, like I said, I was speaking with him and I'm like, so do you think we would ever be able to? But it's painful.
Oops, this is what your, wife is going through. Is that what you are seeing in the moment, as she expresses herself now, going back and rewinding?
I mean, like I said on the previous episode, though we spoke about it, we have not had like a very intense conversation to kind of check really how are you doing in relation to this. I mean, only later on where we kind of try to check in. And even now when I hear her speaking some of this stuff, I'm like, man, I didn't know that you went through such a difficult time, you know, because also we are not the same persons, you know. I'm that guy. Just going back to make just on a lighter note, when we were launching a church, we kind of booked someone to come and facilitate the sound and stuff like that. And this
should we expose them?
No, not yet. So this person didn't pitch up. They didn't show up. They kept on saying, we're coming. And I'm that guy who kept on believing until it was the time for the event to start, and they have not come. You know,
they're still setting up to do. There's a lot. Even if they come, there's
still a lot. You know, but at the back of the mind, I'm that guy who always believed that it will happen, even if it's a bit later.
Sure.
You know, I did not take a knock just as she did. It did not. Yeah, I think it's just an issue of how we are made up. Maybe that's even why we struggled even to have a conversation, because though we were dealing with the same thing, but we're not experiencing it the same.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it pains me to know that my wife has gone through that time, that difficult
Sure.
time, and with something that was beyond our control, if I would put it there that way. I mean, I can imagine this pain. I can, and I'm literally saying that I can only imagine, because I don't know the full extent of this pain, her pain, together with the pain of others who may be in the same boat,
Sure.
including today. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and I think the point of the conversation and having people here is not necessarily to say this is how all women feel because of,
yeah,
Yes.
because
sure.
of that.
Yeah.
But you may find a few that can relate to your
Yeah.
experience, and at least begin to find healing in sharing the same experience.
Yeah.
I know, Obs, that we tried to get some to gather some research, but we don't have anything as conclusive as yet. Something that we need still to get into, but on the relationship between infertility and leading up to divorce.
Yeah.
From the both of you, based on what you just have described, the experience that you went through, do you see how that can lead to divorce? Is it something? Not you're not saying that it will, but do you see how it can affect the relationship to a point where it separates the couple?
Yeah, I mean, if I was to jump in and respond to that, yes, I mean, for sure. I mean, traditionally in the past, and we have stories that we can tell, that we have observed of our mothers and aunts and people who did not stay in marriage because they were said to not be able to to conceive, and they were sent back home, or in some other cases there are polygamous relationships as a result of that, because if one cannot conceive, and also most of these decisions were done uninformed, because by saying if one cannot, we don't know who that person was. We don't know if the conception it's because of the issues, some challenges that a male is dealing with or a female is dealing with. But in those contexts, mostly it was women. It was pointed out to be a lady, and then they will get another wife who can go through that. Yeah, but I even in our day, just relating back to this, and I can only imagine how if it has built up like that, since we even struggle to have like conversation, to do like a proper check-in. I can see how that can possibly build a distance, a gap, where one will feel like, I totally don't understand this person and this because of how they are dealing and relating with this. And also on the other side, Meg, speaking about research, I also checked, it's not directly responding to this question, but I also checked that when talking about infertility, some of the research, especially locally South Africa, within the South African context, says that out of six
Couple.
people, out of six couples, one couple is likely not to be able to conceive. And that's what that particular research is saying, and that's a lot. That's a lot. One out of every six. That's a lot, man.
Sure.
And I feel like we have not even we didn't even start unpacking this, both in the church and even outside of the impact of this infertility, or even understanding the magnitude of this as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
just you're saying, as people, we're asking you that when are you having, and you're not feeling woman enough. At what point did you feel woman enough to carry the strength to enjoy in this time? Because you kind of alluded to the fact that you didn't feel like you're worthy to be his wife. Is there a point where you felt like, okay, now I'm worthy? And perhaps how do you get there?
Mac, it's very tricky.
Yeah.
Because we are speaking specifically about conceiving and bringing forth a child. I remember one day while I was speaking with Opa regarding the specific matter, and the only word during that time that brought to me comfort was when he said to me, "You are more than enough for me." When he said those words,
take notes. You are more than enough.
It made me realize that, and I mean, we all are different, and I mean, you can have 10, 20 ladies after me come speak about their same journey, their journey of how things work with them. And I think that night when he affirmed to me that you don't need to be anyone else, that you are more than enough for me, that gave me the comfort. Because remember, in my little mind, I made up to say that if I'm not able to, because I'm being asked, when are you guys conceiving? I'm being asked, will you ever? Check how many years later you are still married and nothing. So when he said that to me, and even the days to follow after that specific day, I felt like then I don't need anything else. God, if it's your will, it will happen when you want it to. But if he affirmed that to me, to say to me, my wife, you are more than enough for me. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. So that was comfort to me. But there was still this longing of, I would love to. There was that longing, there was that desire. But not a desire, not to feel like I'm not worthy of being with him. Because he already affirmed it to say that even if this doesn't happen, you are more than enough for me. That was comforting, that was assuring, that was to say that this guy actually has my back, even though I'm going through all this that I'm going through. But the sense of it would be nice to bring forth. So yes.
I'm just also thinking of that also. That, I mean, as already my wife had said, that we did not go as far as trying to figure out that at this point are there stuff that I need to avoid or start taking or on her side,
We didn't.
we
didn't have money, we were broke.
we were broke.
That's the
But
worst
we
you're
didn't
talking about.
know,
For better, for worse.
no, that's part of it. We didn't know. We didn't know what could be causing this, but that's when you have to talk yourself out of how you were raised, and social norm and tradition to say, if this is not happening, this is probably a woman issue, and it's not a man issue. And I'm saying, I'm sure with the guests that we will have, that we will invite to talk on the same subject, we will kind of learn some of the stuff that we can avoid, or some of the practices that we can cultivate that will contribute towards this. But also I think, I mean, even with all that, we are not saying if you do this or if you don't do this, this will happen. We are just saying this is a subject that we need to discuss, and we need as many voices to speak into this and give wisdom to first the church, but then also society in general. So even in that time when we were in that space, we didn't kind of do some checkings to see what could be the because most of the time I think there is that possibility of saying, is this me? Is it me? As my wife has alluded to how she felt that time. Is it me? Is it her? And we are not talking, mind you, we're not talking about this as deep and thorough
Okay.
as we would. And I mean, even as she alludes to what I said to her, I am even convinced a few years later that I probably say this because I didn't understand the magnitude of the impact of this
Okay.
question. You know, because we can only grow.
Yeah.
You know, I said this and I definitely meant it, but even with saying that, I am sure without a shade of doubt that by then I did not understand the magnitude of this subject. Even now I'm still learning to understand it, but with what I know now, I'm sure I know better than I did few years back. That's why I'm saying we can never really fully exhaust this subject. We can only learn, and when we learn, then we become better people. We ask better questions. We relate with people better when we know better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a whole lot of questions that are coming up and that, but I mean, I think I'll leave it more to the YouPluggers to ask. Now we're on the other side. You conceive. You guys find out what are you experiencing at the time. I don't know if I should even ask this. You probably let me just ask. You guys will see how you deal with it.
Yeah.
You are at a point where you are navigating now intimacy because you've been trying but it's not happening, and you said it changes the intimacy dynamic. Was it now intentional, or were you just going with the flow post, okay, now we are fine, let's just enjoy life?
Yeah, let me respond to that,
Okay.
but just backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
During the time when we were trying, and I can see how that can affect a relationship, because at some point, intimacy, sex became like a project. You know, at that time, and I'm just talking for us, I'm not saying this is a general, became a project which should result in this. That's why then we could easily, that's why we found it difficult when we were not conceiving.
Sure.
It was just a difficult thing, because now you are trying, and you know that now I have made up my mind, this is what we're doing, we are trying.
Sure.
And when you keep on trying and it's not happening, it becomes, you start asking even more questions and start being suspicious and start wondering about stuff. So yeah, and then now we are on the other side. We have conceived, and you are asking, how are we navigating this now going forward? I mean, it's a difficult question. I don't know how to. I mean, we on this side, because at some point in our relationship, we were at the point where we were like, we are intimate, but we are hoping that it doesn't happen.
Okay, yeah.
And then we were intimate, hoping that it will happen.
Yeah.
So now we are on the other side. We are intimate, and we are saying, if it happens, it will happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Even though, you know.
Okay, sorry. Let me just interject. Okay, my question was not necessarily on the now going forward.
Okay, sure.
But just when you finally conceived, can you pin it down to a certain day? Like, yeah, no man, I remember that day when we were.
No.
I think that's where I'm really coming from. That.
Yeah, you know, when you have been trying, you keep on trying, you won't remember specifically. To say.
Okay.
It was that day.
Well, not you won't. We specifically don't remember. I mean, obviously, when you backtrack from the time you give birth, you can count 9 months back,
Yeah.
and then you'll know the month. But
Okay.
the event surrounding that,
That, oh, okay. So you guys had basically just gone on saying this is just how we're going to do. You had resolved between the two of you that this is how we're going to be going forward, whether it does result in or whether it
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. Remember, they were you, and when you speak about that, you do, when you don't want to conceive, you do things that can eliminate the possibilities.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you want to conceive also, you do things that can enable the possibility,
Okay.
that can possibly
Sure.
enable that that possibility. So we were at that point, from that point when we've decided, we had stopped using preventing measures,
Okay.
and we were in a space of some nights were better than others. Some nights it's intimacy, we are in love, we are married. Some nights it's a project. So it's that roller coaster of emotions and feelings then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So then finally you find out that you have conceived. What are you experiencing based on just this journey that you come from? What are you experiencing in the moment?
You know, Mac, I can still remember that day like lightning. I don't know why I say lightning. But in any case, I remember it was exactly 2 days after Opa's birthday.
Okay.
On the 28th of November.
Okay.
When the two of us were alone, and for some reason, 2 weeks prior, I've been complaining about the back pain. Remember, we are new in this.
Yeah, yeah.
So to us, it's, I don't know, back pain, I don't know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
And eventually, I consulted someone, and the person said, did you ever try to use, to test yourself? And I'm like, test what?
Test.
Because we've been trying and nothing. And she's like, no, do it. And I remember it was the 28th, the morning, Opa and I decided, no, we are going to Clicks. We are getting this one that says exactly we are what we are. But we actually looked for the one that would give us the months.
Yeah.
But they didn't have it in stock.
I don't think they didn't have it in stock.
Or
I
maybe
think
we
were
didn't
not
know.
sure which one it is. Yeah, I think when we checked there, there are some descriptions and stuff, but we were hoping that we'll get the one that will tell us when did you conceive.
Yes,
But we just got another one,
Okay.
and we paid it was pricey. So our hope was that, okay, this one
Will tell us.
will tell us. We kind of give the readings,
Sure.
Yeah.
But then I then just back to you.
Yeah, and I remember that it was the two of us alone at home. It was around 7.
I won't remember. those
Around
things.
7 the evening, and we did the test. And I remember Opa going with me to the bathroom. We did everything together. And I didn't look at it. When I was done using it, I gave it to him. And he just his eyes just went big. And when his eyes went big, I was screaming because then I thought I probably knew this is it. But I'm telling you, it was a joyous night.
Wow.
That night we were just thanking God that
But
he
we
can
did
do it.
another one also too.
Yes, we did a second one just to make sure that this is really, really,
Oh,
really
ye
it.
of little faith.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yes, we did. But that was our first one, and to date I still have it as a reminder of God's faithfulness towards us. Yes.
I'm looking back to last week's episode. I think I said something, carelessly, and I think I understood the intent, but it could have been understood otherwise, that children don't bring joy. And I'm listening to you, speak this. It was a joyous moment for you, finding out that you are, you have conceived, that you have a little one coming, and I think it's something that one cannot even express in words.
Yeah. It was a beautiful time for us, it's, and I mean, I know that this is probably like a foolish example, but when you feel like you have something pending, and it's not even close to this, but like for example, like something like doing a driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that stress of going through
Oh,
it, and when you get it, you are like kind of
Hey.
relaxed. And I know it's not the same for everyone, because other people could be have conceived once, but they are trying for the next and for the next, and
Sure.
and the pain and the reality of that pain does not stop because you have one.
Sure. Sure.
It does not stop. It continues. But I think for me, that would be a description, even maybe if it's even a lousy one, but just that one of saying, we have conceived. You know, I think for me that was I think that was an expression for us of I don't know, mercy, grace, whatever. But because it's not something that I can say we deserve it. You know, none of us deserve nothing when it comes to God,
Sure.
to our relationship with God. All this, it's just for His plan and His purpose, and we get to benefit in that, you know, by partaking in that
Sure.
in that joy. You know, I know I'm saying stuff that are probably stupid, but I think I'm just trying to articulate
Yeah.
that, to say that the pain does not stop because you have
Sure.
the reality of that difficulty and that possible pain, you know, because people are dealing with this differently. To some, it's, if it happens, it happens. To some, it's, we really would love this. To some, it's, you know, we deal with this, we deal with this differently.
Sure.
And I think for me, when we learned that we've conceived, it was a beautiful thing to learn that, and a feeling of, honestly, a feeling of relief, you know. And we've been trying finally. And I mean, that's, that does, I think I'll just keep it there. Yeah.
In closing, sometimes we tend to go through these experiences, and in the times that we are hoping and praying, and I literally mean like praying, asking God for a breakthrough, when we come out on the other end, so many times we when we get what we have been praying for and I have been asking for, we don't usually, and I'll speak for myself, don't usually reflect on that actually God has answered this prayer, and what have I learned in the moment, what has this taught me about God. So I want to pose that to you guys in closing. How has this informed your faith journey? What have you learned about God? What have you learned about yourself in relation to God? What has God taught you through this?
Do I answer? You want to answer first?
You know, Mac, it's like I said earlier, that we were trying, we were praying, and eventually at one point I went into a depression where I felt like maybe this is not how God is not going to bless us. And eventually God blessed us. For me, I've realized once again that maybe it was not just the right time yet, that His time continued to be the best time. And I know I can speak about our experience, but there's so many out there that is still waiting on God's timing. And for some reason, I started to get that satisfaction that every time when I look at Tsepi, it's a reminder. Hence we asked of God, and though we took long, though we took a depression, though we took me from just having withdrawal syndromes, though it took me to a moment where I felt I wasn't worthy for my husband. Hence we gave her the name Ditsepiso Tsamurena, that it was His promise that came to fulfillment through her life. And even now when I look at Ditsepiso's life, I continuously thank God that after 4 years of marriage and plus months of depression and not feeling like a wife enough to my husband to bring forth a child, I still continue to see His hand at work, because when I see this episode, I can just say, God, thank you that you came at the right time to bless us with a child such as this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, just to add on what my wife has said, or maybe it might even sound even different. I am learning now, and what I am learning is that in the story of the Bible, God is the subject and not people, not us. God is the main character of the whole story, and that's what I'm learning now in my adult life, and this is what I even shared with the class I taught this morning, that God is the subject. You know, the fact that He has allowed us to conceive, it does not change the story of God and make it about us. It remains the story of God. Yes, we get to participate in the joy and in all these moments, as my wife articulate. What I am learning now in my adult life, even to date, is to keep God as the subject.
Sure.
That whatever that is happening or not happening, because of my commitment to the Christian faith, and what that means is living life within the context of the sovereignty of God. For a long time, I have learned to embrace the when Jesus say yes, nobody can say no. But I was today years old when I start learning that when Jesus says no, no one can say yes. That's a difficult term to come to. But then what that means, and what this draws us back to, it's God is the subject. He knows better than what we are doing. He's at work. We get to benefit sometimes from what he is doing for whatever plans he is. Sometimes we pray and we find that that prayer is aligning with the will of God, but sometimes God has other means. He remains the subject of the story, and that's not a lesson I've learned long time ago. It's the lesson I'm learning now today. That's why for me, when you speak about this, I just point it back to say, in the story of the Bible, which extend to my time, it's God has always been the subject. God is doing something in the world. He is inviting us to participate, and He has entrusted us with this child for whatever plans that God is trying to achieve, and we just get to to enjoy that part of God's plan of bigger in a bigger scheme of things. I don't know if I'm just being a pastor or stuff.
No.
You see, my wife is stepping on me. She's saying keep it short. She's saying yeah, keep it short. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm gonna listen to my wife.
No, awesome. Thank you guys. I think this was refreshing. Thank you for allowing yourselves to be so vulnerable.
Sure.
In sharing this, I think for me, my takeaway, at least from this, is that one, just touched on this, that we are not defined by our circumstances. That whatever womanhood is not defined by what you experience or what you can do or cannot do, but it is defined by God Himself, and talked about His sovereignty, that we live our lives in context of who He is, Him being the subject, and then two, also on God's timing. We have made it really about us, about when we fast, we fast with a date in mind. When we go to churches to receive prophecy, we want to get definite and the assurance. I'm not saying this is all bad, but we have just centered it around us, and it's I think it calls for that mind shift and for that repentance, to be humble and just allow God, because you look at the story of people like Sarah. They were not able to conceive for so many years, and it could have said to them that no, it's fine, that's God's will.
Yeah, sure.
Let's stop trying. But only in their old age were they able to. So it's really humbling to be daily living in light of
And I mean,
in
even
humility
with
to
that,
God.
it was for the purposes of God.
Of God,
God
yeah.
was still the subject
Yeah.
of that
No,
of that
for sure.
story. Yeah, sorry for just
No, it's fine.
yeah, yeah.
So you pluggers, that is it for today. What are your questions? What are your contributions, your engagements? Who would you like to see here? If you also can see yourself coming to contribute to this, we would really love to hear from you. Any final thoughts?
No, I think
Yeah.
I think we are fine. I think as a UPlug community, what we are saying is, when we know better, especially on this particular subject, we become better people. We ask better questions. We know how to better support. We know how to better relate, even if it will not be on the most deepest of levels. And we are bringing this because we are saying, let this be educational. If my testimony, if the testimony of my wife and many others who will come here can help to encourage someone's faith, revive their hope, help them to navigate the situation that they find themselves in, then praise be to God. We are not trying to say we have answers for everything, but we are saying if we can bring our knowledge and wisdom together, we will know better. Obviously, under the guidance of the Word of God as well. So yeah.
No. Awesome. Any closing remarks? You've exhausted
Yeah.
all of
Well, we are done. We are done. So, friends and family, thank you very much for tuning in, for joining us.
Yes.
We hope that you will engage this conversation. You will bring other people that you will suggest other people that you think will be helpful in navigating this conversation. Or if you are an expert in one of these subjects, please, we would like to have you come here and help us navigate this conversation in a way that is honoring to God and to people as well. So from the three of us, remain plugged. Ciao.